Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Sunday Night Live. I'm very excited because just like that, it's a year later since I first got LinkedIn Live access, and it's been a lot of fun. My very first show I remember was quite goofy. Matter of fact, the second, third, and fourth ones were pretty goofy as well. I think it was probably in 6 or 7 months later that I finally got the hang of it. And we got another person that just joined. Hold on 1 second here. Dave Foy is in the house.
I made it.
Thank you. So it's been quite an interesting ride. I've met some great people through the Fixed Ops Roundtable, TEDx Fixed Ops Roundtable, and I figured what more fitting than to have some of my friends from the Fixed Ops Roundtable on the anniversary show. So that's just what we did. So we've got 2 more people we're waiting on, but we're not waiting. We're going to forge right on forward. Robert and Cesar are the last ones to join, so they should be with us momentarily. So everybody, welcome to the show this week. And welcome to all my awesome guests. We've had fun on the road. We've had fun online. It's just been a lot of fun. So why don't we do quick intros and then we'll get right into it, starting with the top.
I'm Ed Roberts. Yes, Ed Roberts, Fixed Operations Director at Bozard Ford Lincoln, and glad to be here, Paul. Happy anniversary.
And Cathy Lynch.
I'm Cathy Lynch. I'm the owner and president of Absolutely Automotive Warranty Training, where we do all things factory automotive. And it's been such a pleasure meeting all of you, and I can't believe it's been a year.
Wow. And just as a footnote, so you guys know, Cathy had me at the first warranty code. We were on the patio, and she's rattling off these warranty codes. I'm like, holy moly, who knows all that stuff? Cathy does. So ever since then.
Thank you.
Elenour.
You liked that trick, didn't you, Paul?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty awesome.
My name is Elenour Butler. I am the business manager for Absolutely Automotive Warranty Training. I am partners with Cathy. And this has been a very interesting year. And it's been a very interesting ride getting to know everybody. So I'm grateful also to be here. Thank you, Paul. And happy anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jay Goninen, president and founder of Find a Wrench, and actually president and co-founder of Wrenchway, our new platform that we released earlier this year. But really happy to be here, and congrats to you, Paul. Everything you're doing is really cool. I say this all the time, but the kind of the ecosystem of people that we've really assembled throughout this has been really gratifying. And to echo what you were saying, it's been a real blast getting to know all of you and some really, really good, talented people here.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Mike Vogel, Fixed Ops Coach, President, Automotive Service Manager Coaching, and also one of the co-founders of TEDx Fixed Ops Roundtable. And great to be here. Always great to be with Paul. He's a laugh a minute and a great guy. And congratulations on your anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Kiosk himself.
John Frazier. I work at a dealership. Service director, Paul and Dodge here in Dallas, Georgia.
And the Fixed Ops Mastermind.
I wasn't sure if John was done.
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
He didn't push the finish button on the kiosk, so I didn't know. I am Dave Foy. I am a dealership Fixed Ops director. I am also the founder of the Fixed Ops Mastermind, which is Tuesday night leaders group, and also the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast.
Awesome. I just got a message from Robert Sebestyen. He's just getting off the exit. I think he was in the desert in Arizona somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. Oh, we got a couple of comments here. Let's go to the comments so we don't get too far behind. Ty Thompson says, congratulations, Paul. Ty Thompson is going to be the first guest on the show for the very first episode for 2021. So looking forward to that. Abel Aguirre says, good evening all. And Micah Larkin, happy first any Sunday night live. Anniversary, yes. Dan Stockel, what a way to end the year. Congrats, Fixed Ops Gurus. Well, I don't know if we're gurus, but collectively, I suppose we all add up to one big guru, right? Because we all add each other's
There you go.
Fixed Ops toolbox. And Jeff Daniel says, all-star group. Thank you, Jeff. Always a pleasure to have you here. Mark Williamson, happy anniversary, Paul. Thank you. Michael Landis, we had a lot of fun with Michael Landis out in LA. Happy anniversary, Paul Meijer. Ron Usher, congrats, Paul. Good luck in the future. I'm not going anywhere, man. I'm going to be right here. Abel Aguirre, happy anniversary. And Brian Cates, humbled. Yeah, I guess we're all humbled. Now, this has been really great. So, I'm also a founding member of Ted Ing's Fixed Ops Roundtable. I promise you, there's just coffee in here.
Yeah.
Are you sure you've been doing this for a year, Paul?
I see. I
Didn't
see
he just say that he fixed it after 6 months?
Well, maybe a year.
Maybe not.
I'm sorry. What was that question? What was that? Repeat, please.
So yeah, no, it's been really cool. So a founding member of the Fixed Ops Roundtable as well, and that just came about, just building community on LinkedIn, just contributing to people's threads, adding comments here and there, interjecting knowledge and/or questions. And Ted sent me a message. I was on the way to a client in Greenwich. He said, "Hey, I'm having an event coming up in May of 2019. Would love to have you come." And I'm driving, and I try not to text when driving. I do the voice to text thing, but it doesn't always work well. So I said, is it too early for a phone call? He says, no, not at all. So 7 o'clock in the morning, I talked to Ted for the first time. And we had it all set up, and we've been literally like brothers ever since. So it's been awesome. And then I've met most of these, actually, no, I've met everybody here through the roundtable at different roundtable events. So that's been really, really cool. And a couple of things that I wanted to do tonight was, it's been an interesting year for all of us. It's been, I lost my mother-in-law earlier in the year. That's been really rough because she and I were buds. I would drag her all over the place, oftentimes live streamed without her even knowing it. So it was kind of a gas. She had become known in the Niantic area as Niantic's favorite mother-in-law, and people would look forward to seeing her on camera. So I was, it would hit me pretty hard, when we lost her a few months ago. So that's the bad part of 2020. The good part of 2020 is that what I learned is that the only constant is change. And things are always changing, and there are different ways we can deal with that change. A lot of people, when change happens, they just want to say, yeah, no, that's just not happening. It's not happening. I'm just going to ride this out and see what happens. Well, generally speaking, that doesn't really work very well because change does happen. It happens all the time. And it's those people that learn from that change and adapt to the change. Those are the ones that are going to keep rolling, right? I was on the road for most of the time. And when COVID hit, middle of March, everything kind of shut down. I didn't really feel comfortable going on the road, so I had to change. So I went from a model of driving 30 to 40,000 miles a year in the car to having to create something online that would fill a need that I could do from home in the safety of my home, yet still serve other people and bring people together. So that's the change I'm talking about, right? Shit happens to you. It happens to all of us. Figure out a different way to do something different to keep rolling forward. You have to constantly roll forward. And I've learned that, you have to be really disciplined and focus on the things you need to be doing when that change occurs, because it doesn't happen by itself. Unless you're constantly working it, it's not going to happen. So that's what I learned. And for 2021, we actually cheated a little bit because as far as we're concerned, our 2021 has already started. So it's going to be more of that going forward. So that was kind of what happened, what I learned, what I experienced, and what I'm looking forward to in 2021. So it's going to be an awesome year. Ed?
The This year certainly challenged all of us. And one of the things that you constantly have to remind yourself is keep a work-life balance. And because the busier things get, let me turn my phone over here. It's going crazy there. The busier life gets, the more it can consume you. And so the challenge that I face more than anything is to make sure I kept some balance this year. And there's nothing more important. I'd give it all up to my daughter. There's nothing more important than my daughter. So I got to make sure I keep that family time in there. But one of the things that 2020 taught me is we all know that, and Paul talked about change, but we all know we have to adapt. And it made us adapt on the fly. There wasn't time to sit back and think about it and what we're going to do. We had to adapt, make changes, move forward, and change on the fly to adapt what we adapted to. But it showed us that we could do it, and we did it. And I think we all grew from it, both personally and professionally. But every day is a learning experience, and you got to keep that in front of you. The win for me in 2020, as most of you know, we built a new dealership, and that was a 2-year-long construction project. And we just happened to put a restaurant in the corner of it that serves 6 plates a week. So that was a win. Getting that thing up and going in challenging times there is, opening a daycare in the middle of COVID, opening a restaurant. And I can't just say just open them, but opening a successful restaurant thus far, and it's a successful daycare, and adapting to the protocols, keep everybody safe with all that stuff. It goes to show that even in challenging times, you can make big things happen. You just gotta, it's all about putting forth the effort, creating a plan, working the plan, adjusting it as needed, and adapting. 2021, I think we can continue to grow from that. We've learned a lot, and if any of us didn't find a way to change and adapt to a new way of life in 2020, I don't think we ever will. In 2021, we could. One of my goals is to continue to grow mobile service. I think that's a big part of our industry going forward. Amazon has really trained us as consumers to have stuff delivered to our door. So now we have Instacart and we have all those other things that makes things happen, Uber Eats, and all of them brings things to your door. Well, it's our time to whether it's sales or service, to bring that to your doorstep. Because ultimately our vehicles and our homes became our ultimate personal protection equipment, PPE. And when we can fill those needs in those areas, then we're hitting a home run.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ed. Let me just read a couple of comments. I hate to fall behind on those, and then we hear from Cathy. Terry says, what a strong way to end the year. Thank you, Terry. It was definitely learning experience. And I see LinkedIn user. I don't see who that is, but it says, good evening, everyone. Congrats, Paul. Keep up the great work. Keith Degenstein says, good evening. Hello, Keith. And Steve Apicella. When people care about more than themselves, interesting in helping to grow the strengths of others and truly commit to making a difference for the industry we serve, that's leadership. Hear, hear. Pandemic or not, nothing gets in the way of that purpose-driven mission. Thank you, Paul Meijer, and your weekly guests of Sunday Night Live. Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. I've been fortunate. I've had some great people on this year that have shared a lot of things with the audience. And Jeff Daniel says, it was a year of opportunities. You just had to seek them out, for sure.
Agreed.
Mark Williamson, winners will win no matter what the circumstance. Annie Lister in the house. Haven't seen you in forever. Hi, Annie. I think I saw Annie just before the lockdown because I was up at their group, and then the world shut down. And Keith says, you must have to adapt. Great job. The only thing we can count on is change. Absolutely. All right, Cathy.
Thank you. I actually think my biggest challenge this year came before the shutdown. my whole team and we all work from home already anyway, so we didn't have to really make an adjustment to that. I think my biggest challenge was realizing that I don't know how to put it, but basically to know that I belong with this team, with these people right here on this platform right now, this minute. And honestly, it was people like Paul and Mike and Elenour who told me and who showed me that, yes, this is where we belong and this is where we need to be. And so for me, the challenge was learning that and realizing that we had the right stuff, basically, like the astronauts, to be in this group of people. And without all of your support, I wouldn't have gotten to that place. So I thank you all for that very much. And that kind of goes with what I learned too. I learned that there was a place for our business. There was a place, there was a need, and that we were relevant. And so again, I thank you all for that because this was all brand new. And even though we're about to start our 4th year, I think this was the year where everything kind of started gelling and we started figuring out what the game plan was. And so I learned to trust. I learned to trust the people around me. I learned to start listening to my own instincts, although Elenour can tell you, yeah, you're still working on that, Cathy. But I have learned that. I think a win for me, it wasn't exactly for me. And it sounds so silly. One of the things that was really important to me when starting this company was to be able to provide my employees with a really good workplace, with livable wages, with the satisfaction of knowing not only do they have a good job, but they can have a life as well. And about a week or two ago, one of my employees went out and bought a brand new vehicle. And I can't tell you how good that made me feel, because that meant that I was providing for my team, that I was giving my team what they needed to do, what they needed to have to be able to go out and buy a new car and not worry about food and excuse me, and to know that even during this horrible situation, they have a job and they have their benefits. And so to me, that was the win, was knowing that my people were taken care of more than anything else. And for 2021, my goal for 2021 is that Elenour and I can get out from behind the desk. I want to be able to hire enough people so that Elenour and I can go out and meet with you guys. We really want to fly to Connecticut and visit Paul. And we really want to be able to go visit all of you guys and go have a meeting. And we've got dealerships that are outside of California. We want to go see them. We want to go mingle. We want to, do more fun stuff and get out there and do more in-person training. So that is our goal for 2021, is to get out from behind the desk.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
Cathy, I got to chime in on that. There's not a better satisfaction as a leader than watching your people grow and prosper. And that's a great win.
Yeah, that was fabulous. It made me tear up when I saw he'd gotten that car. I was just like, wow, we did it. We did it.
Awesome.
Cathy, you've got me all fired up now. Like I'm all wound up. Like, this is good.
Cool.
Elenour.
Yes. Darn you, Cathy. You took some of my good stuff.
Sorry.
Anyway, no, it's all right. It's all right. I have to say my personal challenge this year was juggling the chaos in the world and trying to shut it out so that I could be able to do my job and not get caught up in all the chaos that was going on around us. It goes back to what everybody's talking about as far as adapting. Yes, we were set up to work from home, so we were already ahead of the game. And I think that was, part of the win. one of the things that I learned is I can adapt. We can adapt to any situation that's thrown at us. With all the years of training that we all have combined, we knew how to win the race because of all the training and the years and the experience, getting thrown in and not feeling like you were sinking because you had a team that would help elevate you or help you get caught up or cover your desk if something happened with your family or something of that nature. So I learned more to look at the forest and not just the one tree that's always in front of us that we can't never seem to take care of. For me, I think the win was, again, similar to what Cathy said, was we did not fire or have to lay off not one employee. We were able to make payroll, every payroll this year. Everybody had health benefits. And for me, as the business manager, and Cathy will tell you, that is my biggest fear is you want to have enough because the team you've built is an all-star team. And there isn't anything that we can't throw at them or ask them to hop in and help. And so for me, being able to not lay off anybody in the middle of a pandemic and everybody has health insurance, they can take time off if they need to be with their family and do what needs to be done. So for me, that's a win. Plan for 2021. We have a lot of dealerships that one of the things we pride ourselves in is that one-on-one, that we're not just somebody through an email or a phone number. We had plans to go to a dealership that's our client and get to know these people and more personal level. And, due to the pandemic, we're doing it this way, which we've had to learn to adapt. So for me, getting out there and doing what we call boots on the ground and establishing relationships like we did the year before and the year before that is really what my plan is for 2021, is just to keep going and going well. So that's my story.
Awesome. Thank you, Elenour. Thank you. Mr. J.
I don't know how I follow up these people like that. They're just incredible people. But I think lessons learned from 2020, I don't know that I can summarize in like this amount of time. It was such a crazy year for us owning a small business. We expanded a lot through this, but I think looking back and really seeing, one, how important a great team is, right? And how important it is to have people that don't freak out in situations like that. We were sitting in the office here on St. Patrick's Day when everything really started to shut down, and we had some beers and we were just kind of sitting back and we're like, we have no idea what's about to happen. There's so much of it that's out of our control, and we're just going to kind of let it ride. So we shifted gears to go away from selling. And I think this would actually be kind of one of my wins was we had actually hired 3 new salespeople going into the pandemic. And,
nice.
And we didn't lay anybody. We actually laid one person off, but it was because he could make more. He was a salesperson, could make more through the unemployment benefits that were out there. And he had a special needs child and it was a single father. So it made more sense to do that. But we had a conversation with him first to make sure that that's what he wanted. And so I think when you look back at how nerve-wracking that period was, it was terrifying. And to know that, everything that you've built, and Cathy, I know you probably had some similar feelings going through that, but it was truly terrifying. But to see how everybody and understand, I think it gives you a different appreciation for how talented the people are on your team and how good people are willing to just kind of drop what they're doing and help you out. And that's, as we went through it, we were about to launch our Wrenchway site, and then COVID happened. And so not a great time to launch a new business. But we actually had the technology built in to build out a platform that we called Support Repair Shops. And it was meant to be just very, very brief. And ultimately, we weren't sure how this was going to impact shops and if they were going to be able to keep getting traffic. If people stopped driving, there was maybe a little bit of a worry there. So we actually adjusted our platform on the fly a little bit to allow shops to sell gift cards to customers and be able to hopefully generate some cash flow. So we did that for a couple of months. It wasn't a very big program. We didn't think it would be a very big program, but our hope is that if it helped out like one shop, like that was enough for us, because we weren't selling. It wasn't a good time to go out and call people and be like, hey, you know what? You need text now? And everybody's freaking out. So, but I think when I look back at it, it helped us in a whole bunch of different regards moving forward, right? Like that 2020 side, one, we'll never forget it, but we went through a lot of transition. We have all new systems throughout 2020. We have, just, I don't know, I feel like a better product. Everything just seems to be coming together. So as we look forward, Find a Wrench is obviously a big piece of what we do, but we feel like Wrenchway can really be that next step. And really, our goal for 2021 and beyond is to help improve the technician shortage, right? And you can argue if there's a technician shortage or not, but I can guarantee you that there's less people out there than jobs so for tech. So it's created somewhat of a Wild West type atmosphere amongst dealerships. And what our core intent and our mission is to help improve the industry enough to where we're keeping the people we have in the industry. That's a big concern with people just flat out leaving the business altogether, and then helping attract more to the industry, right? And we think we can do that with Wrenchway. So that's a big piece of what we're doing, helping schools, helping industry in general. We're definitely not going to be a like, hey, we're just going to solve everything type of company. But I think we can do a lot to help shops tell their stories, really have some type of visual representation of who you are as a shop. And I think that's going to be a really, really big deal, because I think in a lot of cases, a tech can work for a not so desirable dealership and not know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel or that there's other options. And then they end up going to work in another trade or driving truck or doing whatever. So there's too many talented people that are leaving the business. And I think if we can help them stay in the business by creating a better atmosphere and a better environment, I think we've done our job then. So that's what I've got.
Awesome. What's great about that is that when we all look to make our industry better, we all benefit, right?
Right.
Yep.
We may not live in the same town, in the same state, but guess what? They see us all as one group. So if I fail, then I failed you guys, because the person that has a bad experience in one place will then go to the next place with that chip on their shoulder and not expect some of the greatness that everybody here brings to the table. So that's a great thing that you're doing. Before the coach goes on, I just want to read a couple of comments. Steve Apicella, the mission for 2021 is to unify and simplify digital engagement and customer experience through improved internal efficiencies and advanced connected processes that naturally inspire new revenue touchpoints. Moving forward, leaders, employees, and vendors are either part of what's next solution or part of the disconnected from reality problem. Sobering, but necessary for industry growth. Absolutely. And Jeff Daniel, our owner, said he's never had so much fun losing money back in April and May. When you can say that, you've done something really good. We bonded as a team and kept everyone busy also. That's awesome, Jeff. And Nathan says, that's right. Like I always say after a virtual chat with a LinkedIn connection, hashtag There is no excuse not to converse well with your LinkedIn connections. I've made really great offline friends through online connections on LinkedIn, and this entire group here will testify to that.
Yeah.
So, Mike Vogel, the coach.
Good evening, everybody. So I'd like to start out by saying my challenges for 2021 were certainly not up to most of the people on this panel. For those of you that don't know me well, I'm semi-retired, so staying home is not really a big deal. I guess the biggest challenge, and we make a joke out of this, my wife and I, is that we don't go out to eat 3 or 4 times a week like we were before COVID. So if you call that a challenge, but work-wise, challenge-wise, we came off the Fixed Ops Roundtable in February in Vegas at NADA, really, really successful, and having to pivot to go into virtual meetings. That was a huge change, and Ted and Gene had to put a lot of work and effort into making that be successful. I was also working for a company at the time, which was a retention, loyalty, rewards program. And I used to visit the dealerships once a month and chat with the guys, talk business, talk shop. That was a lot of fun and engaging, and I enjoyed that a great deal. And of course, with COVID, that was no longer possible. So, for me, virtual and phone calls just don't meet up to the standard of being in person, live in front of a person. I don't think I can ever get to that point. I'm more of a people person. I want to be there. The other thing I'd like to say is to Ed's point about adapting and changing. I think the good, the great, the exceptional fixed ops managers were already doing that on a regular basis before COVID hit. And the best example I can give of that is I learned early in my career, back in the early 90s, I went to a seminar, and the guy leading it was a former Chevrolet fixed ops manager. And he said, it stuck with me to this day. His point was he took a underperforming Chevy store and made it #1 in Arizona. And what he did was he sat back and put it on automatic pilot. And next thing he knew, all his surrounding dealers in Arizona started catching up to him and passing him. And he says, if you take one thing away from this seminar, you need to take away that never rest, never relax, always be looking for ways to improve and get better. And so for me, I've lived that my whole career, and my semi-retirement, I'm still looking that way. And I guess what I'm looking forward to in 2021 is continuing to help fixed ops people any way I can, whether it's on Fixed Ops Mastermind with Dave Flory, whether it's on your shows, Paul, whether it's on the Fixed Ops Roundtable or whatever. And I pivoted from that one job I talked about earlier with Smart Tech, and I'm actually working with fixed ops vendors now, trying to improve their product from a service manager's perspective. So I've been working with Curtis Nixon and Brandon Nixon with Update Promise, and most recently I started working with Dave Boyle with Tire Profiles. So that's how I'm kind of transitioning to a different way of thinking and a different way of doing things by helping improve the business any way I can, whether it's through a vendor or whether it's through the different groups that we have through LinkedIn, through Paul, through Ted, and through Dave Foy.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Mr. John Frazier.
Kiosks. They're my challenge. That's my challenge. Kidding. 2020 was my 2020 was very much like everyone else's in many ways. I started off 2020 in a fairly new role and saw a long future there. And the challenge that I struggle with goes back to something that Ed had said earlier is the work-life balance. I don't know when to clock out. And it's even worse than my wife works with me. God bless her. There's zero balance there. You know, it's so hard for me to put the pen down. It's so hard for me to step away, because there is so much to do. There's so much to accomplish. And, you know, early in 2020, when COVID hit, I put all that work and I put all that effort into taking a place that was just in shambles, only to find that I was nothing more than a number, you know. And it was actually good to be put out of work for a couple of months, I think. I got damn good at making pancakes and baking. The kids they've never eaten better. But I still struggle with that even to today. I in my new role, just stepping away is a struggle for me. Something that I learned this year, and this stems into my personal life and my upbringing, and it kind of haunts me through my career, is not letting people determine my worth. What, you know, that's just been a lifelong struggle for me. I know what I can bring to the table. I know what I can accomplish. And my win for 2020 is proof of that. I have many wins. They're all in the same category. When I look back at wins from this year, I think of people that I was able to bring into the business that have never been in the business before. You know, I think of Benjamin, who's back in Texas, you know, working at an airport, and now he's a really successful service advisor. Never done it before. I have a guy working with me now who's never been on the service drive. And it's a little bit amusing, but it's a little bit saddening at the same time that the advisor that sits right next to him has been in the business over 20 years. And this guy outperforms most veteran advisors I've met because he's just so hungry. He's so passionate about helping people. And that's my win. You know, when I look back and I think about the people I brought into the business, that's where my joy comes from. That's where my drive in this business comes from, and keeps me going. One of my plans for 2021, we've had a lot of success at the dealer I'm at right now. Every month has been a record month for us. It's been tough in this area, attracting talent where I'm at. But I've got a good, solid core group of people. So in 2021, my plans are to grow the shop, 5 or 6 more technicians. I have 8 advisor offices, but I only have 5 advisors. I want to fill all 8 offices. I want to have to put desks on the service drive. You know, I want to be the Dodge dealership that customers in the Atlanta metro area come to. Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. Thank you, John. Thank you.
All right. Kiosks are not my greatest challenge. So 2020, like you, Paul, started out on a difficult note for me. I had gotten to a job that I thought I had been looking for a long time, which was a fixed ops director of a multi-store group, and had to leave that job after only a few months because my dad became pretty ill, and I was too far away from home. So I left that job, came back home to make sure I was there for my dad and my family. My dad passed away February 24th. And I was lucky enough to, when I left that other job, to land at another dealership that was 11 minutes away from my home. and my dad and my mom lived right next door to me. So the job that I am at now is as home game as you can get. So that still pays dividends as I have to come home now and then to take care of mom too. So that was the big challenge at the beginning of 2020. And obviously right after he passed away, COVID happened. So I took over a dealership that was struggling, which is always the way, right? Because they're not replacing a service director if the place is running on autopilot. So 2020, along with COVID, provided the challenges of bringing that dealership up to some higher levels where we are still working on that stuff. And so 2020 was much more of a year of personal challenges. Certainly did a lot of inward searching after my dad passed and after leaving the job that I thought I had searched for 20 plus years in this industry. Been in it for 30, but on the management side for 20 plus years, and got to where I thought I wanted to be, and I'm not so sure that's where I want to be. So it was a year of reflection, and obviously everybody had their challenges in 2020. In 2021, looking forward to continuing to build that dealership and getting them to the highest levels that they can be. Certainly building the Fixed Ops Mastermind larger than it is, coming up on a year and a half, year 2 in June. And the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast started seriously in May. And that has grown in leaps and bounds. I'm amazed at how much larger that has become. So I'm looking forward to continuing to grow that. And starting in January, the all new Vision and Values coaching program starts, which has its first 12-week session starting January 16th, and then much more to come from there. So 2020 been challenging year, but there was a lot of good that for me that has come out of 2020, and a lot more to come in 2021.
And what you didn't tell us is that your podcast is doing, you told us it's doing well, but you're on a list.
We're on a list. We're top 200 in the United States for management podcasts. So that thank you, Paul. I'm not great at tooting my own horn. So and
a lot of podcasts. So to be on the top 200, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and top 5 in Nigeria, but who's counting on that, right? So
awesome.
Anyways, I appreciate all of you. I have to jump off. I got to go run. I got to go pick my son up, who was out to dinner with a couple of his friends. So I got to go pick him up from wandering the streets.
Very important.
See you, Dave.
Take care, Dave.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, brother.
Happy New Year, Dave.
Happy New Year.
Robert Sebestyen, I told everybody you were doing the halftime show.
All right. So when I asked you what you got for tonight, you said, let's talk about a challenge, something we learned, and something we're going to do in 2021. You didn't say anything about that, but if you want me to grab the guitar, I can grab the guitar.
Sure.
You want me to grab the guitar? Guitar. Oh, man.
That's one of those things you have to ask him like on the spot, because then he can't say no.
We're always doing some good entertainment.
There you go. Here you go. Guitar. So here we go. Stick shifts and safety belts. Seats have all got to go when I'm driving in the car. It makes my baby feel so far. I need you here with me, not way over in a bucket seat. I need you to be here with me, not way over. Well, a lot of nice cars are Japanese, but when we're driving far, I need my baby next to me.
Bravo.
Well, that's it.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Thank you, Rob.
I need a truck with a bench seat, a 6-seater.
That was good.
So, yeah, I play a little music. I mean, who plays music on LinkedIn? I mean, that's just crazy. It's not Facebook, right? But by popular demand. So you want me to tell you about some challenges?
Yeah.
Challenge number 1, me. I believe in loving my employees and empowering employees. So most of you know we own a brick and mortar dry cleaner and clothing alteration shop. We do, at times we've done as much as $40,000 a month in alterations, clothing alterations. We can alter a suit. I mean, we've attracted some of the people that care about their appearance, business people or guys that wear jeans otherwise, but so at one point we realized there's a parallel. Seamstresses are just like technicians. We sell hours. We don't sell anything else but time. It's all about the hours. And I was like, well, I've got 25 years worth of experience in fixed ops. I'm going to bottle it up and award-winning experience. But the challenge has been, so early this year, I hit a brick wall with this, that I was loving my employees, but we forgot accountability. At one point, we had an employee who's been with us for a while and had some health issues, and we trained her from scratch. She went from making about $8 an hour when she started with us to making $25 an hour within 2 years. And next thing you know, she can't show up. She's showing up, and it's all because of health-related issues that we took for granted. So we never asked for the like at elementary school, bring us the excuse. The doctors know. Well, next thing you know, this person goes out and opens her own business, has a set schedule, and is able to show up for work. So you've got to also hold people accountable. You can't just love them. And when you start seeing something, even though you want to be compassionate, right? Yes, but at the same time, you've got other team members that are looking at this. So that was the challenge that we loved, and we just said, you do whatever. And then come and go as you like, because we understand you got some challenges. And next thing you do, so that took away some of my freedom. But at the same time, we still love our employees, because I believe you love them or you lose them. And that's a lesson learned. But the most important lesson learned is staying consistent with your integrity in what you're good at. Stay consistent with integrity and connect with people. So integrity is the foundation of everything I do. I believe in providing premium services at a premium price that when you articulate correctly, people will buy, because you base them on integrity. And I've been fortunate enough to visit Ed Roberts. So this year I pulled back and I said, I can't visit dealers this year. And I'm not going to call on dealers, but I can bottle the stuff. And I've created the online platform that I've been working on for a couple of years for fixed ops training, the Under My Care and gravitational service department, where you create an environment that people just love to come back for more. Every time they leave, these people got to go, I'm coming back for more, no doubt. And I tell my friends, I tell everybody on the internet. So this expands to everybody: technicians, parts counter people, parts managers, service advisors. Everybody's got to be on board with this thing, because there's nothing like when you really take your clients under your care and maybe you missed something, but you're compelled by this belief, this commitment you've made. It's almost like a doctor who signs up and says, the doctor's got an oath that they're going to give you the best solutions to save your life and give you advice how to stay healthy, not just to save you for that moment, but a good doctor would say, but by the way, I see these other things. So staying consistent, connecting with people, that's been the big thing. And continuing to win, made some really good progress on developing the platform. Some people have tested it. That's a big win. Got some great feedback. A couple of the guys that might be in here listening, they've been out there, and it's the goal of the whole platform is to cure complacency, and that's what we're trying to do. So to attack the heart, so that then you can follow the processes that take care of customers. But so that's the win. The getting the platform where it's almost ready. It's not 100% ready, but it's ready enough that people that sign on, they'll actually see results really quick. And it's got accountability built in. The connections is a huge thing this year. Connecting with people and being vulnerable, finding out who's doing the good stuff out there. There are people that are doing some really good stuff in fixed operations that I love seeing. When you sell stuff to people, it's stuff that benefits them. It's easy to explain, even if the price is a little higher, but it's really not higher. So I love seeing the connections with people who are doing good stuff in fixed ops. So that's part of it. Why I'm here. Thank you, Paul. You're one of those guys. And certainly Ed and Coach, really everyone here. John Frazier, I've learned a lot from you. So 2021, I'd like to get the Under My Care Gravitational Service Department training into 1,000 dealerships. And, that's the goal for 2021.
Awesome. Now, regarding you're saying it's not 100% ready, I don't think that anybody is ever 100% ready with anything, right? Because, Jay's business, for instance, started out in one direction and then it shifted, but then it had to shift again midstream into something that maybe it wasn't 100% the way he had intended to, but you find that unexpected road that you find yourself on, it's kind of a good road. You're looking out the window and like, yeah, I like this road I'm on now. And had it not been for those unexpected challenges, you might not have been on that road. You might not have discovered part of that new business that you just launched. And when is the right time to launch any new business? Right?
That's right.
It's like asking when it's a good time to have a baby.
Bingo. That's exactly what I was going to say. If you were to ask anybody, when are you ready to have kids? There'd be no more population because nobody would ever be ready. But yet when that challenge is put in front of us, somehow we rise to the challenge, right? We overcome the obstacle, and I've had lots of conversations. Yeah.
I call that the sink or swim method. When you're in the midst of it and you're in the middle of it, you got two options. You can either learn to go with it and adapt, or just let it take you down. It's totally up to you and your mind frame and your mindset. Just set yourself up for success, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Every day you learn something. There isn't anybody, I don't care how long you've been in the business, that knows everything. If you're open every day, you can learn. But sink or swim, you're either going to do one or you're going to do the other.
That's
Personally,
right.
I like when I swim.
That's interesting. I grew up on an island, and when I first learned how to swim, there was a public pool, and the swim instructor takes you onto the dive board, and they literally throw you in the water. That's how the swimming lesson started. It's not like on the side of the pool and you're doing the hand motions. No, they take you and they throw your ass off the diving board into the water.
Exactly. Yeah, you learned though, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was like in my experience, it was so interesting from that aspect. I had a really good job and managing a lot of people, and I quit my job the same time that we had my son and started Find a Wrench. And I remember going by my grandpa, and he said, I said, "Hey, Grandpa, did you hear, what I did?" And he's like, "Yes." Like, that's a really stupid thing to do. And we, it's crazy because we went from, me in my basement, almost 4 years ago, I guess, to we've got a team of about 30 people now. And it really just, it's crazy how much the community that we have here, right? That's so supportive and so really, you see what Paul's doing with Dealer Vendor Match, and you want to see that succeed, right? You want to see that do well because it's in our network. There's a lot of just really talented people. Even some of the people you listed off, Paul, that are listening that aren't necessarily on this call. There's some people out there doing just amazing stuff. And to me, it's all of you are very, very much a very influential to me. And there's days where you're having a really, really tough time. And to really be able to kind of talk to all of you, honestly, it's been huge for me, for my business. I just can't, one, thank you all enough, but then two, I just think it goes to show the quality of people that we've got in our network, and hopefully that, that continues on, because we've got some really, really cool people here.
Well, and what I really like about this is everybody's so supportive of each other. And Elenour and I kind of came from a background where that wasn't encouraged.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice to be here and go, you know what I do helps you, what you do helps me. This is a team, and it's across the country, and that's great. And, we even have the one take Wittens in England, and we're all here to help each other. And that feels so good.
Well, Cathy,
that we're all helping each other.
Cathy and Elenour, I'm sure you've gotten some referrals off of here, because anytime warranty comes out, the second one of us, they say, contact Cathy Lynch, Elenour. But I do want to do a disclaimer, that song, that's a cake song. I just want to make sure that everybody knows it's a cake song, and we actually are 4 seat belts, okay? So that's seat belts have got to go. That's just the thing about back in the day when there were no cars on the country highway and you want your girl next to you. Just a disclaimer, we want you to wear your seatbelt.
Well, just to comment on what you just said, Robert. Yes, we appreciate it very much that everyone has been supportive, and when it comes to, in-house warranty, whether it be training or picking up a dealership or doing temporary coverage, we appreciate that suggesting. Absolutely. For a long time, Mike was our biggest cheerleader, is what I called him. You all call him the coach, but for us in the beginning, he was our biggest cheerleader, and so it's all his fault. And thank you.
He's the first ever coach / cheerleader.
There you go.
He really was. He really was. So again,
that's what
Robert,
I used to call myself.
Thank you for that, Robert, and everybody for suggesting us. We appreciate it. We're our own little cult. I mean, we're our own little group. We are our own network of crazy, and I am grateful for everyone. So thank you.
We get to a couple of comments. Aaron Bratcher says, great to hear the aspects and experiences from different viewpoints. Yeah, we do come from a lot of different viewpoints. But yeah, you don't always get to appreciate what somebody else goes through, because you're going through your own stuff and you're thinking, oh man. And then you learn that somebody else has gone through something as traumatic or worse than you. You're like, yeah, you know what? This situation isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Perspective.
Perspective. We got Michael Larkin says the value of NADA 2020 is coming back. Stay tuned. Hashtag time-lapse traffic. We had a great conversation today. There's some great stuff coming from Mr. Michael Larkin. So you could wait and get a hold of him, or you could just reach out to him and find out what he's talking about, because we're already on that journey. Bubba Butler says the journey is the dream. Speaking of the comedian guy. And Jay Jensen, I have been a wing it guy for the last 60 years. Jay is the best. I don't know if you've had a chance to see some of his videos, but the ones he does in his professional studio are second to none. Hollywood's got nothing on Jay Jensen, I promise you that. Jeff Daniel says, I said this before, parts of 2020 sucked rocks, but those rocks also paved new roads for lots of folks. They absolutely did. January is going to be probably one of our best months ever. And that's coming out of a not so good year, so to speak. Brian Cates, enjoying Robert's gravitational program. You are not the only one. There are quite a few people that have given very positive feedback on that. And Brian says, this community has helped me leaps and bounds this year. Thank you. You know what? We all help each other. The connections we've made. You know, I got connected with Ty Thompson and Jay Wurzberger. They're the ATI, Auto Transport Intel. Just got connected with them somehow through somebody. And Jay invited me on his show. And lo and behold, one of the transporters that was watching that show went on the website, saw the episode, signed up for my program. So everybody's always watching. We can all help each other. We can all help each other build a community that will get us all through to the other side for whatever it is that becomes an obstacle in front of us. And Michael Offmuth, hello everyone. Great show tonight. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Wow, it's already 9:01. The time just flies.
Time just flies when we're having fun.
That's it. So I want to thank my guest, especially for making this an awesome year for me. It's been really great getting to know you guys and become friends with you over the last few years that we connected on LinkedIn, and the fun that we've had in person at events and the conversations that we have offline. It means a lot to me, and that's why I wanted you guys. I wanted more folks on, but the platform only allows for 10. And I think something happened to Cesar. He was going to be on, and I had asked Ted and Gene to also be on, but they had other engagements. We're not able to make it. But they're always right here. These guys are great. They're literally like my brothers. In here, and we talk all the time. So does anybody have any final questions for our panelists, or do you guys have any final thoughts you want to say to our guests before we call it a night?
Well, Paul, you're thanking us, but really the thanks goes out to you, because we couldn't have done this if you wouldn't have put this program together. So thank you for putting it together and sharing this with the community.
Yeah, echoing what Ed's saying. We talk about all the people that are doing great things, but I think the Paul Meijers, the Mike Vogels of the world that are really kind of bringing everybody together are so needed, and really, when we look at that part of making the industry better, I think that you guys are a big part of that. So thank you, Paul, for putting all this together. You're doing amazing stuff.
I just want to say, John Frazier, we wish you much luck with your extra technicians and service advisors, and especially with only working 14 hours a day. Forget about the 16 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. When it's 5 o'clock, you really should just walk away. I know it's hard because it's just right there, but 5 o'clock, it's beer o'clock somewhere, so make it happen.
You have to remind yourself it's an ongoing journey, and the journey is not over today.
Yes, but again, for Paul and all of you here, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. So thank you again. And
thank you very much.
Congratulations, Paul, again on your 1 year. And congratulations to all of you, because, you've grown, and we've gotten through this crazy year during a pandemic, making things happen, taking care of your employees and your team, and adjusting to their needs as needed. So I think that is a great reflection of the community that's here. So again, Paul, thank you. And of course, thank you, Mike, and thank you, Robert.
Thank you, guys.
And then just a couple comments came in under the wire. Anthony M says, great show, guys. Mark Williamson, awesome show. Thanks, everyone. And Nathan Williams, keep up the good work in 2021. So for those that I'm not going to be speaking with, Happy New Year. Be safe and have a prosperous 2021. And to some of the others on here, we'll be speaking before the end of the year, so I won't say Happy New Year to you guys just yet. Thanks again, and have a successful week. Be safe.
Happy New Year's to 2021, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.